grill shit's starting to pop.
Yeah.
This part of the story is crazy too. It's that when I finally stopped chasing this ex-girlfriend, that was not good for me.
Yeah.
And I was on like a cruise with my family and Charlie Curtis, we talked about earlier. Shout out Toronto Charlie. I like finally felt like, okay, I'm done with that. I'm putting that behind me. I went home, came home. I had a bag of like molds. I went to go drop them off. Like, or Bianca had them or whatever. I went to go drop them off at Rock City to get the grills made. And I met Murda Beatz there.
He's there.
So there's this 20-year-old white kid
from Niagara Falls.
with long hair.
Oh, was it? Okay.
And like 3 perfectly like little chains stacked up.
Okay.
With his 2 friends, one of them tatted head to toe,
Uh-huh.
who's now a close friend and colleague as well, named Smokescreen from Niagara. And they were there jewelry shopping, and I went to go drop off the molds, and the security guard there introduced us. And I was like, oh my God, not again. He'd always introduce me to like this guy who's a rapper and this guy who's a rapper. And I was like, oh fuck. He's like, this is Murda Beatz. He's a big producer. I don't even know if I fully knew what producer meant yet. You guys should link up. And he's like, this is Cory. He's throwing a big festival in a couple of weeks. I was doing this festival with A$AP Rocky, P-Rain,
Okay.
and a bunch of local rappers. And
Yeah.
then, and at that point, I thought, I'm about to start working in music. I'm in the music industry. I was desperately trying to find my way out of the clubs. I'm now 28.
Yeah.
I told myself I wouldn't do this beyond 25.
Yeah, okay.
Now 28.
Yeah.
Trying to find a way out. I go link with my boy, this white guy who like owned a club, I forget his name, to hear his music. And I met Roy Woods. And like me and him freestyled for like 3 hours. He hadn't dropped a song yet. And I'm like, this is the most talented person.
Word is Cory can really freestyle. Like, this the word.
Yeah,
This the word that he can really
another day.
freestyle. Yeah, yeah.
But me and Roy freestyled for like 3 hours straight. We
Yeah.
maybe did a little, got midday turns up. This is before I was sober.
Okay.
And we freestyled for a long time. And this kid had the most amazing voice.
Yeah, yeah.
And, and I've never heard anything. And I instantly.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, there's 3 people in my life where I instantly heard them. And I'm like, this is the most talented person in the world. Is Murda, Murda wasn't from hearing, it was from meeting him. Before I heard the music, Roy and Jessie Reyez, one night at Party Next Door's house. We made her sing for us on the spot, and I was like, this is the most talented.
Oh, you were there
person of all time.
when Tyler.
I brought her into Party House the first time.
Oh,
Tyler
you
wasn't
were
there.
Okay, got you.
Tyler wasn't there. She came with, I think, Jazz Cartier.
Crazy.
We
Wow.
would just have parties. I was living at Party's house that time. We would just have people over all the time. And
Right.
like I think it was like Jazz. I'm pretty sure it was Jazz who came and brought this other Canadian singer from the studio.
Yeah.
And we were there till sunrise. No, Tyler was not be there for those nights.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Because he had to run the business during the day.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the Murda thing.
So
Like, all right, cool. I remember looking at his Instagram when I first met him. I remember looking at his Instagram and seeing that he had worked with like Young Thug, Rich Homie Quan, Chief Keef, Migos. And at that point, Migos hadn't dropped an album yet, but they had like Versace and
Right.
and all that.
Right.
And I was like, okay. And he had like 6,000 or 7,000 followers, which at that point, I would have made you a free grill if you had that many followers. So this is early Instagram, so like having thousands of followers is
It's a big deal.
means you're doing something.
Right.
And yeah, Murda hit me up, I think, a few times a day for like a week, multiple times a day, like, let me come play you beats and show you I'm legit. So people always ask me, like, what's the beat that you heard from Murda?
What was it?
Like, you knew, it wasn't a beat.
It was just
It was
the
that.
consistency.
It was the consistency.
Yep.
I knew brands how to make noise. And I knew like DJs and parties. So I'm thinking, this white kid from Canada named Murda with like long
Right.
hair, like looking like, it's like the anti-hero, like doesn't look like
one of these things
who you'd
doesn't
expect to
doesn't
be,
belong. Right.
who's with like all the gangster rappers, and
Right.
it's like wow, I'm gonna make him like the Calvin Harris of hip hop. I was thinking about like how big a brand and like DJing he can be.
So
I
this
remember
is-
thinking that at that time.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, so you guys are having these conversations. It's intentional that you're gonna make him a brand. You're gonna turn. You guys are thinking about him being an artist and being face forward.
He would always tell me he's never gonna DJ. No, it was not being an artist. It was we're gonna make you the biggest producer.
Okay.
So at that point, he was starting to work with some people in like Chicago and Atlanta, and he's starting to get placements. Stuff starting to happen for him.
Yeah.
His tag's getting recognized. He's like, I need to find someone. He got advice from someone, I think probably like Coach P. You should get, or another producer maybe, you should get big locally first.
Yeah.
Get in with all the local artists. Right. So he was hoping to connect to, he was asking, I was not asking to meet anybody. He was asking the jeweler, like, yo, I think he was looking for connecting with someone who could help introduce him to some local artists.
Okay.
And he heard, yo, this guy knows OVO and XO.
Right.
And he's doing a big festival with A$AP Rocky.
Right.
And at that point, I think this super talented kid, Roy, who had a manager, Kirby Sonny, that I'll co-manage, and I'm going to start managing him. This is before he signed to OVO, but that was my thought. I finally found my artist, my way out of
Roy.
the clubs. Yeah, and I'm going to start.
I didn't know this.
That's what I thought was going to be my first artist.
Yeah.
So Murda, after about like a week or so of him messaging me, I'm like, all right, you can come down and play me some beats. I hit my boy Chi, who had like a studio. He just had, not a studio, he had like a house with like some speakers. And I'm like, yo, this kid keeps hitting me, like, let him come over and play some beats. Like, he's cool. He does some like mixtape songs with like Atlanta rappers. And he came by, and like, I there was something about him, his drive, his networking, like relentless ambition and believing in himself and confidence and the brand of this.
Right.
I really believed in like the brand and his ability, and the beat sounded dope. But I didn't really know the difference. I mean, I loved hip hop.
Yeah.
But I didn't know the difference of like technical of like how I can listen today and be like, this is gonna work or this isn't. And I was like, dope, cool. Another guy like DJ Drama coming to one of my parties that I can have a good relationship with.
Yeah.
I told him, all right, come to the festival, you'll be on the list. Got you. Bring a +1. He comes and it ends up being no one's on the list.
Okay.
Except for like P Rain and them. Or I think they even just like drove themselves and back reps up. They ran the city. But my boy D-Boy and Jermaine from Prime.
Right.
D-Boy was already like my guy, fucking with me, helping me with like clubs. I was like in my turned up parties, started being a good customer, and then ended up being. They recognized him and got him in, and that's how Murda linked with like Prime right away. It was like around the same time.
Oh, got you. Okay.
And that night after the festival, so it was like crazy. amount of work and parties, and I'm always like a maniac while it's happening.
Yeah,
it's
you
over.
are. You
we
are.
We go to what's that, Thompson 24 Hours?
The diner.
Restaurant? The Diner.
The diner. Yeah.
Go there, me, Lamar, a few other people. Lamar tells Murda to bring these shots to these girls. And I remember he's like, y'all want to get drunk with Young Murda? And he's like, sign this guy.
That's what Murda said.
Lamar was the first person to tell me. He's like, sign this guy.
Because Murda said, you
just like seeing his like confidence, like he's like he was moving. So Murda, I felt Murda seemed like an artist to me, from the beginning, and I treated Murda
like an artist.
I treated Murda like a big artist and demanded in every. So I had a lot of clout and leverage in the clubs in Toronto, and every club we would go to in Toronto, I'd make sure that they're playing his music. And he had like a lot of like the big cultural songs to Migos, but he didn't produce Versace or Fight Night or Handsome and Wealthy. They're like big singles. His big one was Emmett Smith. That was the one that like DJs would have it. If it didn't have it, I'd make them download, or I'd like
on the spot
almost threaten them like that they're gonna have a hard time getting. All right, then everybody booked at these clubs and this and yada. You know.
You were pushing your way.
Bulldoze my way in, and we did that until like 2018. No matter what club we're in.
Till 2018.
You probably tell me like, well, if we're in Miami, I'm like, yo, let's go to DJ, because at that point, 2018, they know who he is. It's like, yo, play Butterfly Effect, play our song. Now we go in, they see us, they play our music. You know, it's very different. But I was always thinking about the brand, and I just like the way he thinks, in both like my relentless networking through people
and hustle.
and hustle, and then his relentless networking and hustle online. He was doing it on Twitter.
That's crazy.
He was doing it on mostly Twitter. I think probably
Yeah.
like Instagram and like
Yeah.
YouTube also, but I think a lot of it was Twitter. And he was same way how I would want to get to like Drake.
Yeah.
So I'd make girls for like Obi and like become and for Party Next Door and like,
Yeah.
and like take care of all of his friends. Like I was always like working. I was really like both of us had the same thing is like we'd have a target of like someone who we want to get to like work with, and we'd like work with their like social circle first, earn their trust to like then meet the person, which is how you have to do it when you come out to LA too. And it's so hard to tell between like the bullshitters of like when someone's like, oh, I can open this door for you. I can
Oh
open
yeah,
that door for
I
you.
remember coming to LA for the first time with Jessie and just being like, I was able to get a sense of that right away. I don't know, something about being from Toronto, you can kind of sniff out what the bullshit is.
Yeah, and we just have a different drive too because we have to make it when we're here.
It's an East Coast thing, I think, a little bit.
But more so being from another East Coast, yes.
Yeah.
One other side of it is being from another country.
Yeah,
If
you
we
gotta
don't-
make it.
If we don't make it this trip,
Yeah,
we might never come back
right.
until you have a visa.
And we said, yeah. I mean, I remember, I want to say the first time we came out here, we were supposed to be out here for like a week. Because I ended up connecting with Jeremiah Thomas. So in 2016, Jessie signed to BMG for publishing. So around the same time you guys were getting courted. And I remember the first time talking to Jeremiah, who I was introduced through Byron. Byron wasn't on the team yet. And we came out here and it was supposed to be like a 3-day thing. It ended up being like a month or two. We ended up staying out here. And just because she was going in session after session after session. This was like, the hustle was like so crazy. And while she's going and she's doing the songwriting, because that's what she was known for when she first came out to Los Angeles. She's a great
So
songwriter,
fire.
incredible voice,
Best.
different voice.
Best. Love
Facts.
Jessie.
Facts. And she would go into those studios, I would go into the studio, and then she would be building with the songwriter. She'd be making 2, 3, 4 songs in a night. She'd be cutting them herself as well too. She'd stash like one in her pocket every once in a while and not like keep that for herself. Because at the end of the day, we both knew that what she wanted was to be an artist. But it's the same thing, the hustle. I was going around meeting, while I'm in the studios, I'm like in Paramount lot. I'm just walking around the
Yeah.
studios. I remember seeing Mac Miller in there one time. I remember seeing Hit Boy. Like there's tons of people just walking
Yeah.
around in these studios. And I'd be walking around. Who's the manager? Connect with the manager. Connect with anybody I could find that would give me game.
Yeah.
I'd be going and I'd be asking the questions and trying to figure it out
Same.
all the time. So it was
Yeah.
like around, and you're right. We'd come to LA, you didn't know, like it was
You
kind of
had to make it that
was do
trip or you
die.
might never make it back.
Yeah. You had to at least build the relationships with people, and I think it was. I don't want to say it was easier for us, but Jessie and I were really aligned in terms of what the end goal was.
We didn't know what the end. We knew we wanted to make him the biggest producer.
Yeah. Well, when I say
The
end
biggest
goal,
brand.
not end goal, but
That was it.
what we knew is that like we need to get on,
Mm-hmm.
and we both have the same hustle and drive.
Yeah.
To like figure this fucking thing
That's
out.
what it was with me and Murda too.
Yeah.
We were both 100% all in.
Yeah, we were all.
So
in.
we were in my condo in Toronto. So it'd start he'd come for a weekend, and he'd come for like a week at a time, and he was
Yeah.
just staying at my place, and we were starting to organize his business. We made the first like Murda MGMT email. Start like
Yeah.
we decided we're no longer selling beats like
Yeah.
online.
Okay.
Like no more like the $500,
Yeah,
$1,000 beats.
Yeah, didn't need to. Well, it also probably takes away.
No,
from
it's
the brand,
not. You
right?
don't need to. You start. You feel it at first. You're not making as much money.
Yeah.
Anyways, he was telling me like I can be his co A&R. I didn't even know what an A&R meant, and he didn't have another A&R. I'm like, who am I coing with? But there wasn't initially like I'm going to be manager.
Right.
It was eventually came to the point where
Oh,
it's
it
like,
wasn't
hey,
manager shit.
I'm
Okay.
this kid's manager.
Okay. Yeah.
And like he wants me to be
Very
his
organic.
manager. We're like partners. Like we're in this shit.
Yeah.
We both have a dream of like making it big and
Yeah.
like doing this in this music industry in America. And I really wanted. I thought I was gonna go with Roy, but Roy already had a big team and a big crew and everything. And like me and Murda we were just like on the same like wavelength. We definitely butt heads a lot, but as
That's what
brothers
happens.
do.
Yeah.
And
It's okay. How can you not? It's a close relationship.
and my thing was then, so even in this time, like Snoop Dogg would be in Toronto.
Yeah.
This was before we went to LA because I dropped off his girl. Snoop Dogg would be in Toronto. I'd go be like, I'm with hey, I got Migos producer. So Migos were like the most like mysterious, cool group. No one knew how to get to them. There's a new street group. They're not signed to like a major label.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and
What year is this?
this is 2014.
2014, yeah.
2014. And, Versace just came out. So like this new mysterious group. I say mysterious because it's not. They didn't immediately come out from like Interscope Records, and you could go look up the A&R and look up the lawyer, and and you know the manager because they've
There's
been
no
a big
point of
manager.
contact. Yeah, these guys are just...
it's the manager is like part of Migo gang. It was like it was, you know, it's like the
Hoodmans.
Yes. So saying
That you had the connection.
saying I have Migos producer, and they're like, that white kid, Murda, and then I'd say, so Migos producer, and I want to give you this free grill.
Okay.
So they're thinking it's like a gateway to Migos grill.
Yeah.
It's cool. They're intrigued by the guy who makes the music for Migos. And remember, I'm not going to sell Murda as Migos producer. I just remember like the Snoop story, and this happened with about 20 rappers. This was before even going to LA for the first time. He's at a club in Toronto. I go there because I know Snoop's going to be there, and I'm trying to launch my new guy, Murda. I'm not even his official manager yet. So I gotta wait until he walks by. I can get into like his booth because I can move around in clubs in Toronto.
No problem.
Easy. So I'm like right beside his booth. He's walking in, security, a bunch of people, celebrity in Toronto. It's crazy. And I'm like, yo, what's up? I manage Murda Beatz, Migos producer. I want to make you a free grill and get you some beats. Like, you said Migos? And then
Snoop. Yeah.
gave him my phone.
Yeah.
He gave me his number.
Yeah.
Pulled up in the studio at like 4 a.m.
That's
Made him some grills.
exactly
And that's
right,
the thing.
yeah.
It's like the grills was how I would often get like an entry to these guys. Because would they want a producer they don't know pulling up for
Not
sure,
really.
but to take some free gold and diamonds,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
So, and
That's-
then once
so
the
you
mold's
were-
in their mouth,
Yeah.
Murda's playing them beats, and it's like,
And they're hearing it, and they're like,
and
oh, yeah,
everyone's, no matter how rich these guys are, yada yada, like, I want to do a feature for less than 100K, I want to do a show for less than 200K, but like free gold and diamonds, I want that.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is sit here while you put it in it, and I would do it slower, and I would fuck it up the first time and do it again, so I have enough time for you to like hear some of these hard beats, and that's the thing too. It's
okay.
I knew if I can get Murda a chance to press play, that
People would take to it.
his shit was fire.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just it was the full complete package.
No, but that got
and
you
then I
into
was
the
muscling
room.
shit.
Yeah, you would get it into the room, but as soon as like you said, you press play, people are gonna stop. They're
That's
gonna
the
pay
thing, it's
attention.
like-
They're gonna listen because he's actually phenomenal.
Because if you hustled your way to get Jessie into a room, and then she sucked, you're never walking through that door again. They don't trust you. You know what I mean?
Well, I would hope I do better than not work with people who suck.
Exactly, but that's why
Just
to
to
this
believe,
day too. I genuinely believe he's the best. Like you
Yeah.
know, and I would tell people he's
Yeah.
the best.